Where are you at with your show?
Basically, I'm looking to have it ready to go by the end of this year.
That's
But
nice.
really, I want it really ready to go by like August. Also, I'm not doing Edinburgh this year,
Yeah.
but I still want it ready to go by then. And then I'm just thinking like hammer and chisel for like a year.
Hammer and chisel for a year.
But also, I think the question is, this is something that I struggle with because sometimes I'm like trying to be too much of a perfectionist. I'm like, yeah, this could be better, this could be better, this could be better. Whereas sometimes you're like, no, this is good, just do this. And then whatever the next thing is, like, now use all of your new skill and information to make a better next show.
Yes.
Rather than keeping on working on one show forever.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
How do you decide when something is done?
I think it's arbitrarily putting in things like the Edinburgh Fringe, a tour. Like, you just can't, like, if you don't have those things in, then yeah, you'll just keep tinkering because it can just be whatever you want for whatever, or filming it or, those are arbitrary things, but they do help to make you go, right, time to finish it. But also at the same point, like, you're in a phase probably, especially with the first one, where either you get out there and you do it straight away and you go, right, I learnt my lessons. Maybe some people think I'm not that good. Maybe some people love it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You
move on.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then the best way to then approach it is what you're doing, which is that chisel.
Yeah.
Like, let's just, okay, I'm going to get rid of that bit. That was good. That was a good routine. It served me well.
But now I don't need it.
I'm a different comedian.
Yeah.
I'm better. I'm working out different things.
Yeah.
Something has taken its place.
Big time.
And I feel like I'm in that mode at the moment now where I'm not working towards any specific stand-up show.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, trying to just be like, well, what are the bits that I enjoy doing the most?
Yeah.
And then do new bits come along? Try it out.
Interesting.
I've started trying a new bit to do with food in America that I don't think that you should have to measure how big your food is by how long it takes to eat. I had a salad that took me half an hour to eat. It shouldn't take half an hour to eat a salad.
Yeah, half an hour is a long time.
Yeah.
And you were like focused on eating the salad.
I was watching Traitors.
Okay.
And I was eating the salad, and then well over halfway through an episode of the Traitors, I was like, why am I still eating this? I looked down, there was still so much of it left. You go, that's wild.
Do you think they should have that on the menu in America? They like have salad 30 minutes, like double cheeseburger 25 minutes plus 15 minutes in lieu at later date today.
Yeah, or it says like book time off work.
Yeah, eating challenge. You will win a t-shirt, but book time off work.
I really thought that it shouldn't take me 30 minutes to eat a salad would be like a laugh line. And it was like fine, but I was like, oh, okay, I need to go away and really think about this. It was one of those routines where I go out and I'm like, I've got an idea of a thing that's funny, and then I'll riff around it and see what it is. And I had that, and then it was like, hey, anyone know where Stuart's been? He's been missing for ages. You go, oh yeah, he ordered the baby back ribs at Applebee's. I thought that would be funny. People will laugh at that. This is a reference. No. Didn't really let it. So I'm like, oh, there's something in that. But I will just, if the gig allows it, I'll drop it in, try and work on it.
Yeah. And how do you find, like, in America, do you find the structure is the same, where you go like Sunday to Wednesday, you're pretty fine for new material, like it's mostly new material nights, or like, and then obviously weekend Thursday to Saturday you definitely can't, but
so I'm not in any proper clubs, as so to speak, in New York.
Okay.
And so I'm doing like more indie shows. There's a few places that I'm getting to play, and that's nice. But but like in New York, especially, I'm just doing old stuff, really.
Yeah.
It's
stuff
if I'm
that
on
works
the
for
road
sure.
and I've got like a good 20 minutes and it's like a good crowd. That's where I'm slipping in the newer stuff.
Got you.
Experimenting, finding out. And that has helped hugely. You even like old routines of mine that I'm like, from like 2023 show, that is in a special, I've now repurposed to be like, it doesn't work with how I framed it in that show.
Yeah, right.
But if I'm doing a new like hour, which is like best of old material / some new material,
Yeah.
for whatever, for headlining on the road, I got my first headline slot in the US, which
Nice. That's wicked.
Which is nice. Could
Yeah,
go to
great.
Montana. Got to go to Montana for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully Hannah will be there. And the Binkses.
Hannah and the Binkses. Oh my God, what a crossover episode.
But for that, I'm like, that's good. That's going to be an interesting one where I'm going to do like a mix of old and new, but like taking like old shows, repackaging it, the best material.
Yeah.
And even just like again, an example is like a bit I used to have was talking about being vulnerable on stage. And I'd list having sneezing while you're driving and cleaning a full-length mirror on the floor.
Yeah.
Couple of classic jokes, but I've now repackaged them to talk about how I'm not a particularly exciting person. Like the most exciting thing that's happened to me recently is I bought a full-length mirror.
Got you.
Rather than being like that made me feel vulnerable, I'm saying it's an example of me not being very exciting.
Interesting. And why have you done that? Is that because in America that's the concept that works better?
Yeah, and I think because the vulnerable thing was actually a point of that show was being like, I'm going to tell you the truth about me, and like Steve Dunn, who I work with on shows, he's so good at like being like, here's the concept you're introducing. Now give us some like examples that we can all connect with as an audience, and just slowly get us into talking about the thing you want to be talking about.
Right.
And we did that repeatedly, and sometimes I'd end up stripping it all out because it wasn't quite working. But it would be like, in one show, talk about privacy and like, various things to do with algorithms, and like we first of all we're going to talk about being private. We're going to talk about how we all experience that, including like online privacy and things like that. So we'd wrote a load of stuff to do with that to get to the eventual thing, which was me talking about how I'm going to now talk about private things in my life. And so that was like a repeated thing that he would work on of like, if you're going to talk about that, what's the entry point into it? And so like a lot of the routines ended up getting shaped around those things. And then I'm now like, actually, that's a good joke. I'm going to have that joke. I'm going to have that joke, but I'm going to get rid of that joke and that joke because don't need it.
Yeah.
So then it's like, how do you repackage it now that like a lot of the original context is gone? And it weirdly, I can't remember what the show was, but I was doing a show and I was like, oh, hang on. I don't need to say that. I can just say it like this. I think I went to an open mic.
Yeah.
In New York. And it just made me go, oh, yeah, hang on, I'll repackage it like that.
Yeah,
and
right.
Immediately like, oh, that's so much easier to now talk about because I'm not having to be like, oh, I'm going to be vulnerable with you. I can just say like,
here's
I'm
the
not
joke.
An exciting person.
Yeah.
And here's the example. Bam, move on. And it's not the vulnerable thing. I found it was so useful for that show.
Yeah.
But doing it as part of a set would make people like, hang on, these aren't really vulnerable things. And then he only talks about not having kids and having a vasectomy. That's not that vulnerable.
Oh, right.
So because actually that show was, functioning around talking about grief.
Yeah, right.
That's where it was getting to. So when the show isn't getting towards grief, then you're like, well, you don't need that framing device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fascinating because like I think sometimes when you write jokes, like they're so attached to the context that it's like difficult to then come back and be like, could this work somewhere else? But actually, yeah, they totally can.
And sometimes it works the other way where you go, you've got the context, but you've got a really good joke that you've written. So you then reshape it to fit within the context. And then you forget that it existed on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I started saying the full-length mirror cleaning it on the floor joke, that was just a joke that I came up with and I would just tell it in clubs. Then it was like, well, that's a good joke and it actually does say something about feeling vulnerable and about seeing yourself in a vulnerable situation. And I know that that is giving it a highfalutin edge to it, which is essentially the joke is it's the a harrowing way to see what it looks like to have sex with yourself.
Yeah.
That's lowbrow, but in a show that was all about seeing yourself as vulnerable, it actually works within that context. It has an added layer to it. But when you are not doing that show, then you can go, oh no, it can just go back to being a fun joke about what it looks like to have sex with yourself.
Yeah.
And how gross that is.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Because like the vasectomy stuff to me, like if you were to bring up a vasectomy, like it's so easy for you to, like if you said that was a vulnerable thing, I'd be like, yeah, of course it is. But I see what you're saying, where you're like, this is also just like an interesting thing.
Yeah.
And then you can like package it as such. For the first time yesterday, I met someone else who's had a vasectomy.
Wow.
Another V card. And I almost like just shouted Stuart Laws at him because I was like, man, he's got like all this stuff that I think you would really like. But what was really interesting about it for me, I thought, was like, because I hadn't seen him for a bit, like it was someone I know from the gym. I was like, and then I saw him, I was like, oh man, like I haven't seen him in a while, like how's it going? And he was like, yeah, I'm good, man, I'm good, I'm just recovering from an operation. And at which
from
point,
an operation, and then just leave, and you're like, cool,
yeah,
move the conversation on. He's like, but it was quite an intimate operation. Oh yeah, cool. Well, I don't want to impinge on your privacy, we'll move on. Oh, no, but you can ask.
You can ask.
It's fine.
I'll write on my hand, and then I won't look.
Vasectomy. Well, that's too private.
That's too, yeah.
Let's just move on. I'll tell you all about it.
So the hospital wasn't too far from here, actually. But that is what I realised, though, is that when someone says, I've had an operation, you can't finish the conversation there, ever. Like, it just has to be, so what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Oh my goodness me. Well, how do you bring it up if you literally don't want to talk about it?
Yeah,
because it's too. Then you can't. Like, I don't think you say you've had an operation.
Yeah.
I think you say,
I've been ill for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I haven't felt great for a bit, but I'm back.
That's nice. Cool.
There you go.
Yeah, and like you say that, I'm like, I don't want to. I mean, it's going to be a boring thing about like, I had the sniffles.
I had the sniffles. Yeah, I got it from my kids. Yeah, everyone's got it out of school.
Sorry, I've not been around for 3-4 weeks. I had an operation. Oh shit. Pay dirt. Let's find out.
Let's find out. Is it your dick?
I reckon it's your dick.
Is it a dick up?
You had your dick widened.
Shit, that operation works. It's been advertised to me for years. Imagine if those doctors are like, finally, do you know how much research we did into this dick widening stuff? And everyone thinks it's a scam.
It's
for
not
God's
a scam.
sake, we're medical doctors.
You could be celebrating every single year your new girth day.
Happy birthday to you. Now you're bigger than 2.
All the kids there were like, what's happening?
Do we still get cake or what? But yeah, that was
get a Swiss roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Chocolate or Victoria sponge? I'm not going to comment. Either or.
That's nice. So what did you have a chat about the vasectomy with them?
Yeah, he just went, can't have any more kids. I just can't have any more kids.
I love that move so I've had conversations with multiple people about it who have kids, don't want any more kids, and are like scared to do it. And I'm like, that I heard something that someone said that 1 in 10 mean you just get unending agony in your balls. And I'm like, that can't be true because it's too common a procedure.
Yeah.
But they said it so stridently that I was like, I guess I just believe you.
I think they have to say stuff like that on the off chance something goes wrong.
Yeah.
But like, even though it almost never does.
Yes.
Like I had that with when I had my root canal. They were like, there's like a 10% chance you'll never feel your lips again. I was like, I'd have been okay without you telling me that.
Yeah.
If that happened, we would have dealt with it then.
What if they're doing root canal and they say there's a 10% chance that you're going to have agony in your balls for the rest of your life? Go, why?
I'd say, let's not do the root canal.
Is 10% chance though.
10% chance of agony in my balls.
And we can reduce that. I just have to adjust my position when I'm leaning over you doing the root canal. We can get that down to 0%, but it means that I can't get my preferred angle of getting into your mouth.
Yeah, and I'm not willing to do that, unfortunately. Yeah. And if you want to find someone who does that, fly to America, mate. Get us something private. Here, there's a 10% chance
that I'm going to fucking kneel on your balls.
And then you show up for the op, and it's a different doctor.
Yeah.
And you go, oh shit, I think it went up to 50. I think there's a 50% chance I'm going to have agony in my balls after this root canal.
You saying that has made me realize that, like, across shows, 2019 is when I got it done.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Then realized that show that I was writing, so I got it done in like May or June.
Okay.
Joked with Steve Dunn, who was directing that show, about it. Realized the show was about binary choices.
Mm-hmm.
Realized that actually me getting a vasectomy was a reaction to a binary choice, which is to whether to have kids or not.
Okay.
So it became the coda of the show, and it became like a reveal that I had been lying about lots of different things,
mm-hmm.
and that this was a truthful end to the show.
Yeah.
And it sort of became one of the very first routines that I did that was a real routine about my real life, you know, sort of thing, really. The rest were like hidden behind certain things, or like, you know, extrapolations of stuff.
Yeah.
Then my next actual full live show was 2023.
Okay.
So it's a 4-year gap because of the old pandemic. And in that, it starts with a lie and then gets gradually more and more vulnerable and true.
Mm-hmm.
And in that is another vasectomy routine.
Yeah.
Then in 2024, there is a very small routine about, again, post-vasectomy life that I'm like, oh, hang on, I could just do a half-hour comedy special that's pure vasectomy.
You could. And, like, there'd be a big market for it.
Right? That's, you go, oh, I'll watch that, the vasectomy special.
Yeah. Because...
half off. I don't know if that means anything. That's circumcision.
Yeah. If that's what it was called, I would just see the title of your show and I'd go, I don't think I'm having a vasectomy. What? Half off. Those aren't the kind of measurements I can afford to play with, unfortunately.
Isn't if you're drunk, you can be described as half cut? Is that a thing?
Is that true?
I don't know.
Being half cut.
I'm half cut.
Is that a drunk thing, or is that a different sort of, like, I don't know, dishonest or something?
Half cut meaning drunk.
Drunk.
Informal British English.
Half cut. Where's that even come from? Half
Do
cut.
a show called Half Cut and Fully Circumcised. The time that I got circumcised while I was drunk. I'm making stuff up again.
That would be so good.
Yeah, and that's one half, and then the other half is vasectomy. That's the other half hour.
The other half.
It's a full special.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, I think that a lot of guys, I mean, look, probably more, it's like with anything. I think you talk about it, but because a lot of people haven't talked about it, that doesn't mean they haven't had it done.
Yeah,
so I think more people have had it done than they talk about, but also a lot more people than that are just interested in, like, so what would that be like? How does that feel? And, like, to it in this format. It's like the best way to consume that knowledge.
Yeah, I think I'm putting it on the list. I think I might do it.
I think you should do it.
Yeah.
It's good to declare that here, because you've made a promise.
I've made a promise.
To a lot of people.
The vasectomy half hour.
Half cut.
Coming down your tubes. That's what I'm going to call it. Coming down your tubes.
Coming down your tubes.
Yeah, and it's available on YouTube.
So good.
Now I've given myself a deadline for something. That's like, great. Now I know what I'm working towards. But yeah, you are in this process where you're just like, I think it's quite fun to just be like, at some point in the next 6 to 12 months, you're going to be like, I know what this is now.
Yeah. Exactly, because I've like worked on like my hour on and off for like 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
But like more off than on, because it just hasn't been enough of a priority. But this year, definitely, it's going to be more of a priority. Just because it's like, I think it's been less of one because I realized when I was doing it, like, oh, if I'm going to do this properly, this requires a lot of time and thought.
Yes.
Not into just jokes, but into the whole structure of the show. So, yeah, that's the thing that I'm going to think about more.
But like the shows I'm working with Kate Hammer and Jennifer Jane this year on their shows.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've been saying to both of them is like, you both know roughly what a structure could be. You both have done versions of your shows that are really funny and structurally work. Yeah. So like, if the worst comes to the worst, you do that. Yeah. You'll have a good month at the Edinburgh Fringe. But that means that now you get the freedom of being like, right, what's this bit of the show? Jennifer's is more of a narrative storytelling show. Mm-hmm. So I've been like, and Kate's bit more, is a bit of that, but is a bit more stand up and a bit, you know, a larger performance, like a bit more freewheeling. But with both of them, I've been like, this bit is about this bit's about this. Can you just go away and just treat them as stand-up routines by themselves and just keep exploring those bits? Because, you know, you might have the structure now, but it could be that you explore. You don't want to get locked in on that path. You want to keep exploring. Yeah. And then be like, oh, shit, that's what, okay, fine. We get rid of that. We get rid of that. Yeah. That's going in now because that's really funny. Yeah. And you can easily either repurpose stuff, or things that I keep finding is that when you write a new thing and you're like got a little thing in your head of like where it's going or what the show that it fits in with, you end up writing something that does fit narratively more than having to like take an old bit that you worked on. You didn't know what the theme of the show was, you didn't know what the vibe was, and you're like, get in there, get in the show, get in, there you go. And when you start to like explore an idea when your brain is already fully in the show, but you're like, no, this is just a fun new thing, it often ends up being thematically on point or easily sort of manipulated to be into the theme of the show. The
theme of the show. Yeah. So interesting. Yeah, because a lot of shows are very like, I feel like there's a range of shows as well when it comes to like how solid the theme is. Like, you know, there are some shows you watch and like say one of your shows, you like have the theme, and I know for a fact I'm getting like, you're gonna have tidbits about loads of stuff within the show, but the show is about the theme that you have decided. Yeah. But then there are some shows which are like, and I feel like maybe it's a more American style to do this potentially. Yes. Just for an hour, it's just jokes.
It's interesting because like Americans definitely think that we are like committed to like big dramatic theme theater sort of shows. And so a lot of them will be like, I'm going to go to the Edinburgh Fringe, I'm going to do a storytelling show that's about a big thing. Yeah. Because that's what you have to do. And I'm like, yeah. And by our very nature, we will have a bit more of it. But you look at like Ian Smith's show. Yeah. It is about something. Yeah. Sure. But it's also just gag.
Solid gags.
Amy Gledhill's show. Tiny bit of a theme to it. But again, it's just routine after routine of really funny stuff. But that we, like, as a country, seem to like slightly lean towards being like, yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if it does feel like it's all tied together?
Yeah.
As an audience, when you're watching it, you just then, here's my issue with it. And when I've worked with comics before where it's been potentially more just joke, is that as an audience, I'm just always, it's no matter how good a thing is. Yeah. If I don't have a clear vision that it's progressing towards something, my mind is wandering. I'm being like, well, how long is this going to last for? Where is it going? Yeah. Am I stuck here forever?
Got you. Helps you package it when you have a theme.
And you're like, oh, this does feel like it's heading somewhere. So therefore you inherently feel more relaxed as an audience to be like, cool, I feel confident that not only is this going to end, but it's going to be pleasant in some way.
Yeah, you have more of an understanding of the world that you're in. Yeah. For this hour.
Whereas if it's just like, right, that was a 10-minute routine and another 10-minute routine has just started, that you're like, is this going to end?
Yeah.
Because I sometimes with one-liner comics, I have that sort of stress
Definitely.
And I feel like you go through waves where you're just like 10 minutes, you just got your brain takes a break where you're just like, whew, okay.
Whoa.
And then suddenly you're back and you're like, well, that was one of the best jokes I've ever heard.
Yeah.
What have I missed when I was in my slump?
When I zoned out? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. How do you think that stuff has a relationship with someone on stage having a really strong character? Like a really strong, when I say character, I mean like persona. Like I don't know, let's say Bill Burr. He's really angry. That's all I know.
Yeah.
That's all I know. So whatever he's going to talk about, I know I can sort of get into his world because I know the world is angry. So it doesn't need to, I mean, and don't get me wrong, this isn't me saying Bill Burr has never had a theme to his show. Like, he's obviously, especially in recent years, had like themes about, you know, exploring where that anger is coming from, or, you know, things like this, or like his family life and things. But all of those themes feel like an additional theme to the main theme of the perspective of the comic being so strong.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So do you think like...
Oh, I think stuff like that, yeah, you can find that so compelling where you're like, great. When you're so on board with a comedian's persona,
yeah,
that when they start a premise or something, you're like, oh, I cannot wait to see what their take is on this.
Yeah.
Like seeing someone like John Kearns, where you just like, you know, he says a thing,
yeah,
and you're like, oh, here we go.
This is gonna be good. Yeah.
And obviously his shows actually, like, you know, they do have beautiful structure and they are storytelling, but they're not like, it's not like a clear story where you're following like A to B to C to D.
Yeah.
It's like more ephemeral than that. And suddenly you realize like, oh yeah, we are at the end here, and he's explored all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do find that there is a Bill Burr special where he ends by he says, well, that's my time. And I am so obsessed with that, where it's like, it's your special recording. It's as long as you want. And Americans being so committed to those like end points.
Yeah.
And British being more committed to finding the callback joke that lands and being like,
bang, see you later.
See you later. All of them are fine and good and interesting. I do find it funny, the admin side of things being so prevalent, of like doing a joke, it doing fine, and then being like, you've been an incredible audience. Or like, you know, I'm getting the light. Time for me to go.
Yeah. I think they're about to shut the venue, guys. Yeah. Unfortunately.
All right, so pay up checks. Yeah, I think persona is something that I am drawn to more than punchlines.
Yeah.
Because I think there's something really fun when you can work out the maths of a punchline and make it land.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. I want to get to grips with who the person is. That adds to the humor for me.
Big time. I think, as someone who, earlier on in the journey, who I feel like I have a vague idea of my persona, but I would love to clarify it more. I think that your punchlines lead to your persona.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
But in order to have your persona reveal itself, you have to write enough punchlines.
Yes.
Because either that, or maybe some people, they just know from the start, I'm this, or I'm that. I'm angry, or I am paranoid, or I love everything in the world, or do you know what I mean? Like,
that was Joel Dommett, early Joel Dommett.
Early Joel Dommett, right?
He loved it, loved everything.
Or like,
and it was so compelling where you're like, yeah, that is true. You don't see that many stand-ups who are just like, it was incredible.
Yeah. Joel, exactly. Joel Dommett's a great example of that. Like Russell Howard, a lot of the time, he's like, you know, someone's running for the train. Russell Howard wants them to make it.
Yeah.
You know, and whereas I'm like, oh, don't make it. Like, you know what I mean?
Whereas I'm like, and it wasn't even a train. It was a caterpillar cake, and they managed to eat it all. What the hell is wrong with this guy? I had a vasectomy.
I am down a weird YouTube hole that I kind of like.
I think we're done.
We did a comedy nerd episode.
I think that was a comedy nerd episode.